Okay.
I also suffer from, I'll get the herpes that
Oh, you do?
comes on
Well, we'll
too.
cure that.
It comes on all at once, but obviously I have to take medication.
It can be a graduation disease.
It's both things at once, and that's how I feel. The stress is just
Do you take medication for the herpes?
when it comes on, when I'm overstressed,
Then
I take Valtrex, yes.
But you don't have to take it all the time, just when you get the outbreak.
Yeah.
That's the only time you take
When
it.
I feel it coming on.
Okay, so instead of doing that, you could opt to just cure it. Good man.
Yeah. So when I get back to LA, the journey will continue.
Yeah, we'll continue. So now I want you to demonstrate taking herpes out. Use your finger technique that you showed us again. Hold your hand up so the camera can see it. Good.
Well, I removed everything the other day.
No, but try it anyway, because you got to test for herpes.
Yeah, no, I do.
You have to take. What?
I was testing. I tested yesterday and I didn't have it either.
Okay.
We'll see.
Every time you sleep, test for herpes. The idea is not to find it. If you don't find any herpes in any of your bodies, and you you can go 3 months that way, and you have no outbreaks, of course, then you're probably, I don't know how long it takes the virus to die off, but after a month or two, you can start to test what the safe time is, because then you can check for it less. But you have to check. Right now, you should check every time you sleep.
And do I have herpes in any of my bodies?
Start that way first.
Do I have herpes in any of my bodies? So hold and steady.
Okay, now if you get no, the next thing is to go through the list of bodies. Okay. Nice. Did you feel any different just then when that happened?
Yeah.
Like, what was that difference?
Connecting to my body, kind of relaxing feeling.
Which is what everybody says they get that.
Yeah.
That's the same exact thing, except as you go on with this, it's going to have all kinds of different variations of the feeling. You are now going to be trained, should you choose to accept your training. Your mission impossible, should you choose to accept it, will be to follow a thread of signals to and beyond a negative medical test. So get a negative medical test, and then you're going to go past that. Because the bad news is, when you get your negative medical test, and your doctor says, okay, we're not picking up herpes in your blood or whatever they test for, you're probably still going to be hosting the disease. To cure the disease, you have to take it to another, like, pitch, another harmonic.
Right.
Now, how are you feeling now? I mean, what's that like?
I think the same word, just relax, just very comfortable, very comfortable.
All right, which is good because you were having major butterflies when you started.
I was very nervous.
Which goes to show you that you can actually do this when you're nervous or in some kind of a bad state.
Right.
And that's when you're going to need to do it. The most stringent definition of curing you could ever imagine. And frankly, I didn't think I'd cured my herpes when I stopped getting outbreaks.
Wow.
Because I was thinking, oh, well, it's just delayed, it will come,
Right.
And what happened was, it came. It must have been around 9 months after I cured it, it was like probably 5 months overdue, and I was starting. And then one day it started to come. And I started feeling that feeling you get, but when you start to get a herpes outbreak, people who don't have herpes don't understand what we're talking about.
It's like,
yeah, but they don't know. But we know.
Yeah.
And so I started getting that feeling. I'll never forget it. I was in the shower, and I was paralyzed with dread because I had gotten used to having cured it, even though I wouldn't give it to I wouldn't say I've cured this really, but I was, at the same time, I was believing and so on, and then here it was again, this opponent, the bully that takes my loan.
How long has it been since you
I cured it in 1993.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. Because I get the big
I had that.
Stress.
Well, I'm sorry we have no close-up shots of people's herpes pustules shrinking and disappearing. What you can see, though, is how they do it, how they cure their herpes, and you can imitate what they do and cure your herpes, and it won't cost you a penny to learn to cure your herpes. Welcome to the Cure Drive. Did you make a heart connection with Molly and Nate when you were watching that? Herpes is easy. You probably have a bunch of things to cure that are a lot harder than herpes, like Dina, who cured her herpes years ago. She's one of the volunteers. She was telling me that she kept getting outbreaks for months after she started curing her herpes. She had a lot of other things that were there to cure, that were holding it in place. You heard Molly, right? Stress, anxiety, you know. Yeah, so. Now me, on the other hand, I never got another herpes outbreak from the day I first removed it. The first time I removed it, but of course I'd been doing this for 4 months with other things before I ever thought that I could cure my herpes. I happen to be the person who discovered that you could whack physical diseases with this approach that you were just either doing or watching, whatever, depending on your proclivities. July 1993, lip and genital. I had them both, cured them both. I've always believed in doing things thoroughly, including catching diseases, and I caught them both on the same day. 28 years I was having herpes outbreaks. So, you just got a taste of what you're going to be doing, and if you can't stand the idea of being a bliss ball, you hate this right now. Otherwise, welcome to the Cure Drive. This needs to be on TV. It's The Biggest Loser with herpes. And everything that you need to cure your herpes is in Lesson 1, this website, in case you found this through a web search or a friend emailed you this movie. And I know you'll make a heart connection with the people, which often is what gets people started actually doing it. They make a heart connection with somebody they see, or with everybody. Most of the people in Lesson 1 are not YouTube movies. Years ago, long before YouTube existed, Real Media donated a $20,000 program to us so that we could give you this gift. But you know what? And I'll tell you what, a lot of people would be dead. Because a lot of the things that people cure with this are more lethal than herpes. So they saved a lot of lives, Real Media, by doing that. But you know what? We still make YouTube movies because people find us through YouTube. A year or so ago, a woman wrote to me frantic. Her father was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She found us through a YouTube movie I made on cancer. So, Lesson 1 is a video book. It's a little under 4 hours. And you're going to see a lot of people in Lesson 1 curing a lot of things. And you will learn to cure your herpes from watching somebody else cure HIV or whatever they're curing. And that's what you need. See, you need exposure. With enough exposure and practice, you're going to get good at this. And by seeing enough people doing it different ways, you'll get to practice it different ways. Which is why most of the movies are Real Media movies, because, you know, for a 4-hour video book, 10-minute YouTube movies are not going to cut it. Real is still better. So anyway, did you start doing this when you were watching Mal? Don't worry, okay? You don't have to start this movie over again and watch it again. You're going to see it all over again anyway, and you're going to see a lot more people curing a lot more things in Lesson 1, and there's a lot more on herpes. Welcome to the Cure Drive. And I know you'll make a heart connection with the people. You probably already made a heart connection with Nate or Molly anyway. You know, so no more herpes outbreaks. No more herpes outbreaks from today, okay? Negative medical test on herpes you will get, you need to get, or maybe you don't. If you don't want to go to the doctor, nobody's forcing you. But it feels good to know somebody got a negative medical test, isn't it? That we all feel good about, you know. So we can do this. Join us. And I'll see you in there, you know, in the Lesson 1. And maybe we'll make a heart connection. How about that for an idea?